2018 R1200 GS BMW adventure bike. 2023 XTZ 1200. 2009 R1200 GS. Little KLX 300. Nice little dirt bike, enduro. Got signal lights on it. Little single cylinder liquid cooled traily bike. Look at the cargo on this thing. Quality cargo. That's probably tougher than most cargo packages you can buy. Or how about this thing? One of the biggest misconceptions with these ADV bikes is that they're some kind of off-road monstrosity, but why do these bikes fail so miserably off-road? The reality is that these are more road-going motorcycles for sure, like the Ducati Multistrada. They make these in a V4 and a V2. I mean, they're nice looking bikes. The Italian's got a flair for the styling, and that's very cool. It's got, like a lot of these modern ADV bikes, they're bristling with technology. This one, for example, has fly-by-wire, they call it, so the throttle isn't actually attached to the throttle bodies, and the logic there is that if you unleashed somebody, particularly novice riders on a motorcycle like this, with 150 plus horsepower, the rear wheel spin would be the potential for it, and the inopportune time would be terrific and send the bike skidding down the road with the driver into oncoming traffic or what have you. So, you know, they do things like this, the fly-by-wire, and the technology is kind of being proven to be sound, and they're great until they're not. These things do flake out, and they cause tremendous issues. There's a lot of, you know, you get wiring issues and grounding issues and communication problems between the ECM and whatnot. These are lovely bikes to ride. More urban orientated, you know, broken pavement, hopping curbs, that sort of thing. Expensive bikes, man. This V-twin, the guy just had it into a shop, dealer somewhere. I think he told me $2,500. He done the Desmodronic drive in it, the valve lash adjustment for the Ducati. Super expensive, complicated, a lot of bits have to come off this thing. It's pretty involved, and if you're at a dealership and they're charging, some of them are approaching $200 an hour now. This is your 2024. Man, you better roll up your sleeves and dig deep in that wallet, man, because they're not a charity operation, that's for sure. And these bikes aren't easy to work on. They're very complicated. Time consuming. They're a real time suck when you get them up on the bench. There's a lot of little bits, and man, you want to take your time, because you do not want to rush through a bike like this. You rush through a bike like this, you screw something up, oh my goodness. Parts, forget it. Everything has to be ordered in these days. The dealership doesn't stock any parts, and so if you need anything, it's just gonna be planted, taking up valuable real estate in your shop for the next 2 weeks, guaranteed. Beautiful radial brakes on it, Brembo calipers, of course, but they clamp and bite quite well. This thing does go like a bat out of hell. There is a hell of an engine in here, 1200cc, I believe. Big old motor. These are Pirelli Scorpions. These are tubeless tires, by the way. See how the spokes go on the outer rim? They have two flavors of tubeless tires on spoked rims, and you can see the spokes actually come out the back here, and that's how they do the tubeless thing. But BMW, some Vragos, actually old Yamaha Vragos, they actually had tubeless tires. 1999 XV 1100 Yamaha Virago. They had tubeless rims on them, but they done the spokes in the middle of the rim. These do them on the outside of the rim, and I believe the new BMWs do them on the inside again. Anyways, for whatever it's worth, they were having problems with the nipples on these. They seize up, and intensely hard to true up the rims because the nipples would seize up and corrosion and this sort of thing, and BMW went through this too. Just FYI, if you're looking at a Multistrada, nice bike, hell of a bike, fast, but expensive. Fragile, eh? I mean, this thing has the crash guards on it, of course, which is very cool, but and it does go some ways to protecting the bike, but a lot of these bikes, the Ducatis and the BMWs, the big ADV bikes, are not really that tough. They're not as tough as you'd think they were. They're sort of like a pickup truck that's pretending to be a pickup truck, if you will. Nice bikes to ride though, lots of jam, lots of power, and lots of finesse on the road too. They're very well handling motorcycles. So, you know, this bike, like the BMW, I'm not sure this is the thing I would take up to Prudhoe Bay, up the Dalton Highway, for example. And I say this and make the video because a lot of people do. They choose a bike like this based on marketing, and by the time you get this thing loaded up, it's like the BMW. It's just unbearable, really. It's unmanageable. It gets stale really quick, especially on loose surfaces where the you know, road is turned to crap, and you know, it's slippery, and the visibility is poor, and maybe you're going into the evening, wildlife on the road. This is not what you want to be on, for sure. You know, it's got some nice touches. The tech, some of it's nice, you know, like the traction control and the ABS brakes. Personally, I prefer to have it off on loose surfaces. They're expensive bikes, they're complicated, they're finicky, and that's why it costs $2,500 through one of the dealers to do the valves on this thing. And that's probably on the low end. The prices keep climbing up, and these bikes, I don't know, they're pretty cool for around town, but taking them down to Mexico, I don't know about that. They're not quite as advertised, that's for sure. If you're out and about in a, you know, say more remote area with these things, then the availability of technical expertise and resources to mend this thing after a spill or, you know, electronic mishap or whatever, it's pretty limited. So it could be a real deciding factor on ruining your whole trip. The people who go on these trips put a lot of financial resources into making the trip nice. One of the downfalls of a otherwise great trip is choosing the wrong motorcycle, and so that's why these ADV bikes don't really bode well for the average Joe wanting, you know, a nice trip up to Alaska or down to South America. Around town, in the city, these things are pretty cool. They have a nice stance to them, nice styling. On Ducati's site, they never advertise these things as an off-road bike. It's just something that gets marketed in the mix and the social media platforms to kind of promote this bike for something or not. They'll get a high-end, talented Spanish trials rider to get on something like this and do wheelies and, you know, endos and this sort of thing and win the dirt, but it's not really based in reality. It probably goes without saying, but just throwing that out there.